Welcome back to In Ohio Country today, and we're here at the Molly Caron Ag Center for the 63rd Annual Farm Science Review. And with me is Wendy Osborne, Director of Market Development for the Ohio Corn and Wheat Growers. But before we get started, Wendy, give us a little bit of background about yourself and really how your involvement in agriculture and how you landed here.
Yeah, so I'm Wendy Osborne. I am the Director of Market Development for Ohio Corn and Wheat, and I actually grew up on a row crop and a hog operation in central Ohio, and now I live on a farm in southern Ohio. So I went to school for agriculture and spent 20 years working in agricultural lending before starting at Ohio Corn and Wheat 3 years ago.
So that's most folks said it's interesting that most folks that we talk with in these professions grew up on the farm.
Yeah, it's a unique opportunity, and I have a good perspective, have a love for agriculture, and very glad to continue to work for farmers on behalf of corn and wheat farmers.
So, Director of Market Development, what do you do?
Yeah, so mainly right now I'm really focused on trade because there's been so much trade activity with so many trade deals going on. So a lot of my time is really focused on bringing in trade teams. And then also sending out our board members and staff across the world to visit with other corn buyers across the world. So right now we have two board members, one that's in Indonesia, speaking on behalf of Ohio Corn and Wheat with the U.S. Grains Council, and then we have another one that's going to be leaving this week for Indonesia. So a lot of activity. We are also hosting Taiwan. There's a trade team coming in with a big delegation of corn buyers, along with the Minister of Agriculture for Taiwan is coming in later this week.
Well, Tad, when I interviewed him earlier, made mention about 2 billion bushels of corn with no home. So what else is on the horizon to try to alleviate that problem?
Well, the great opportunity right now we have is for exports. Exports of corn, of dried distillers grain, and then also of U.S. Corn ethanol. It's been a bright spot. Last year, we were up 23% in corn ethanol exports with a record year in corn ethanol exports. But that's a big opportunity. There's a lot of countries coming in talking about the trade and about increasing their mandates and ethanol policy. It lowers their carbon emissions and their pollution in their countries, but that could be a bright spot and probably the biggest opportunity for us to get rid of this big corn supply. And of course it always makes the headline. It's been making the headline. What has the tariff policy of the Trump administration, what effect has that had really on what we see going on with the trade deals and those kind of things? Well, as far as for corn specifically, we have been optimistic about the amount of trade deals, the delegations, the government officials that have come into Washington, D.C. to visit with the U.S. Grains Council, and then coming out to the states such as Ohio to talk about trade deals. They need to buy agricultural products in order to fix this trade deficit. And so we feel optimistic that there have been many trade deals announced. Now, we're still waiting on a lot of the details to come out about those trade deals, but we know from our discussions with U.S. trade representatives that corn is at the focal point of those trade deals and negotiations.
Well, for the longest time as a producer, what would make the headlines is, oh, China is going to buy X amount of bushels of corn. They really didn't talk about, who all the other customers were of our bountiful crop. Can you just expound upon that a little bit? Because I think that was probably overstated.
Yeah, I think China's a really important buyer. China, India, Canada, Mexico, those are all important buyers for agriculture goods. So we're still waiting on trade deals and trade negotiations with those, and those are going to be critical if we really need to get rid of this large corn supply. We know that it's been a challenge on the soybean side, but for corn and wheat, we do hope that we have those discussions and those trade deals. But then the good thing is we've, again, had record exports of corn this year, and that was without China in the mix. And so there was really a focus the last 5 to 7 years on trying to diversify markets. And so we've seen the work that U.S. Grains Council has done along with Ohio Corn and Wheat and trying to diversify those markets. And we've seen a lot of other key countries picking up their increase in corn ethanol exports and also corn exports. A lot of that also not only driven by their ethanol policies that they've been putting in place, but also their their increase in meat consumption and their need to feed livestock around the world.
Well, for the longest time, it was always said that the United States was the largest producer of corn in the world. And so, from a trade perspective, how does Brazil and South America fit in that picture now?
Yeah, Brazil's a really unique country. We've known on the soybean side that they had increased their acreage, and they've took our number one spot several years ago. But as far as also on the corn side, they've really become a strong competitor with a lot of increase in acreage. Again, a lot of that due to the increased corn consumption around the world. So we have needed that to fill the demand. But the United States is still the largest producer of corn in the world and also the largest exporter. But there was a few years ago when we were in short corn supply where Brazil had to fill that void. And so they're a strong competitor. We've seen that China has developed relationships and has trade deals. And so a lot of the corn that China has been getting the last couple of years has been from China and China has gotten from Brazil. And so we know that we need to make sure that we're still competitive. We do have a huge corn supply. We are competitively priced in the market right now. So we do feel optimistic that buyers are going to see this as a win. Hopefully we continue to build up exports. But Brazil is definitely a major competitor for us now on the corn side.
Well, there's just a lot going on with the Ohio corn and wheat growers and trade and all those kind of things. And if somebody wanted to find out more information on that, where can they go?
Yeah, I would encourage them to follow us on our social media site. We're going to have information about our Taiwan trade team coming in, along with we have a Japanese trade team coming in and China. And then I will be also going to Africa with U.S. wheat here in November. So we're going to have all the information, more details on that on our social media sites.
And as always, I'm sure you can find it on their website as well, ohiocornandwheat.org.
That's correct.
Thanks for being with us, Wendy.
Yep, thank you.
We'll be back with more in Ohio Country Today right after this.